Well, hey, good morning. How are you? Just a warning here. This will be a very long video. Super long. Super freak, super long. Just had a sandwich, turkey and cheese. It's going to be a long video. I watched the David Letterman interview with SRK. And I have to tell you, my feelings about SRK changed more. He is an extremely likable guy and really gives into the community, gives back to the community. I really found myself saying, wow, I completely missed the boat on this. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get together a series of his trailers and maybe do some reactions with some of our friends or whomever to talk about SRK. Very, very good. The interview was phenomenal. I thought Letterman did a great job being David Letterman. I think this was good for SRK because it opened him up to a much, he's going to get deeper into the American consumer. David Letterman is very, very popular with Americans. I would say probably 35 to 60. I would fall in there, bro. We all grew up watching Letterman, and he was an icon. What I have here is Nat Geo TV, and it's an interview with Modi. David Letterman did an interview with Modi, so let's go ahead and take a look at it.
We're at the home of the Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. I won't say I'm nervous, but I will say that I'm very, very excited. See these people over there, they're taking the questions and amending them to fit the amount of time we have.
You can see we kept most of the stuff up front.
Tell me the ones that if I don't get to, there will be true disappointment.
These three, but I think you have those.
That all kind of comes under the heading of coal, those three?
This feels familiar. He interviewed many heads of state on The Late Show, and looking at the 33 years that he used to do interviews on television, this is the most like that, in that it is a sit down. He's wearing his suit.
I don't want to just have a boom, boom. Thank you, good night. So my goal here is a conversation containing several points, both personal and with regard to environmental issues and climate change.
No flowers. No, yeah, they're just too distracting.
The bride wanted those. I want him to guess my weight. That's not an icebreaker, that's more of a closer. Right? Is there a way that the 300 to 400 million without electricity can go right to solar?
लेकिन दुनिया अगर मुझे टेक्नोलॉजिकल हेल्प करे, दुनिया में रिसोर्स, तो मैं पहला इंसान रहूंगा जो कोल को इस प्रकार से क्लीन एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट करने पर बल दूंगा.
This was about why this man is interested in renewables and what we can do collaboratively together as a planet to save our planet.
Well, I don't know if that was the thing. It's one of those things where I would like to do it again.
Dave, I think, hates his own performance, but I also feel to some degree he's only happy when he hates his performance.
I was hoping he would ask me to sleep over. I have nothing but questions for this man. Oh, no, thank you. I have acid reflux.
Thank you very much.
2 days in a row. Free sandwiches.
There's Dave. I was watching the SRK interview. He's walking down Mumbai, and some Indian guy goes, David Letterman. Just fucking cracked up.
I've always been fascinated by India, but what I hear more and more these days is how it will soon be the most populous nation on Earth. For me, the question is, what's it going to mean for climate change?
Excuse me, Karen, could you go a little faster?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's a joke. Just, no, it's just, no, please don't go faster. What is that? What is...
Those are electricity wires.
And there's electricity going through there now.
Right now, yeah.
Just one snarl is worse than the next. Honest to God, what are you going to do?
Look, this infrastructure has to be modernized, right?
Oh,
And
you think? We want to modernize this a little bit. What, just maybe a coat of paint?
But here's what's happening. Look, all this power is coming from the grid, right? 60% of that power capacity is coal. But this infrastructure has not been upgraded for a very, very long time.
Right.
Right?
Oh,
So
wow.
about 30% of what we're generating is getting lost in transmission. So when we lose the electricity in the transmission, we're having to burn more coal for the same amount of electricity.
And that affects the climate.
That affects the climate.
But that's not all. The economy is also booming here. India is already the third largest consumer of coal, right behind the US and China. And to feed its growth, India plans to burn twice as much of it. Coal is the single biggest contributor to climate change. This is a problem not only for them, but for the entire planet.
It's interesting.
The Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, seems determined to find a solution using solar power. But can he pull it off before it's too late?
God damn it. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Letterman.
Pleasure to see you.
How may I assist you?
I was in my room
Okay.
a moment ago. I was using the hair dryer. I was drying my beard, and all of a sudden everything stopped.
Yes.
And then everything comes back on.
Unfortunately, we do have frequent power outages. and-
So that was a power outage.
Yes.
And how, when you say frequently, how often?
Well, at least about 4 to 6 times a day.
4 to 6 times a day.
But you don't need to worry. We
need
have
to
a
worry.
full power backup. And
What is the power backup?
we do have a generator.
A generator? Powering a big hotel on a daily basis? Well, that's something I didn't expect. Today I'm meeting Indian filmmaker Iqbal Kidwai, and he's taken me on a tour of New Delhi to show me all the problems that come with use of generators.
This is
What neighborhood is this?
this Connaught Place, sir.
A huge commercial center.
Huge commercial center.
So as we're walking around, I see a tailor shop, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to try to get one of those long shirts that I see people in India wearing.
Well, you know what I'm interested in are the long
Kurta.
kurta.
It's uniform for the politicians.
So the Prime Minister would wear...
Yes, he would. Modi is a big trendsetter actually in terms of fashion.
Oh, is
the
that-
Modi
is that
jacket and the Modi kurta has become quite a fashion statement.
You want to measure me? And we'll go... Oh, are you going to do the measuring?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any disrobing?
No, not at all.
Oh. Have you ever seen a more powerfully built man? Is it possible to get my name across the back? That'd be
We
good.
can have it embroidered.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
Should I write David Letterman?
Just D. Letterman. Wait, you know what? Letterman. You know what? I'm sorry. Dave.
Only David. That's
Yes, thank you.
I'm excited to get my corte in a couple of days, but meanwhile, Iqbal gets me back to the task at hand.
We have a good line of dates, sorry. Smart. All right. Yep, this way. Turn up the stairs. All right.
Oh my, what are these giant things?
That, sir, is what we need to power ourselves. Any of those green things?
These are generators,
These are
right?
generators.
Yeah, there's several over there.
Green
Yes.
ones and the yellow ones.
As far as you can see, for 360 degrees, that guy's got his car horn hooked up to a generator.
Back home, we use generators when a tree falls on a line, but here, power failures seem to be pretty routine.
The power, when it goes, it can come back in 2 minutes and come back in 20.
Sure.
So when you're not sure, you need a backup.
Iqbal tells me these generators are all powered by diesel and pour huge quantities of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And here's the really scary thing. India has enough backup generators to power all of Australia.
Wow.
A grid powered by coal, inefficiently run, with power outages left and right, all requiring more coal. And on top of that, these diesel generators are warming the planet even more. But why can't India's power come from a cleaner and more efficient source, like solar? That's actually what India is trying to do.
Well, let's do this because this is going to be super long. Let's go ahead and we'll pause here at the 16-minute mark, and we'll pick it up for part 2 later, and we'll kind of go forward with this. We'll make this into a series here. I think some of my Indian friends will be upset because there will be some. They'll view this as a negative. I don't view it as a negative at all. I view this as an opportunity. When you look at India and her economy and her military and the totality of what she is a superpower. And yet things like this that we saw with the grid and what we saw with the infrastructure, the electrical grid, she's a superpower in spite that. Because the grid will get fixed. These things will get fixed. Water treatment will get fixed as India modernizes and the economy takes root. These things will be fixed. You will. I mean, man, oh man, if I were 18, I'd be going to India right now in trade school and be knowing electrical and plumbing, and I would make a fortune. And I would, I wouldn't care what caste I was in. I would be like, I'm making a fortune, dude. I'm putting in toilets and hooking up electrical and working on the grid and cell phone towers. And so I think, the illusion that you see here is the struggle of India to modernize when she had, billions of people there, right? And I don't say this from a place of condensation, of being arrogant towards my Indian friends. America grew differently. Infrastructure kind of grew with us. And so we don't have the same hardships that you do. Of like, okay, we have, 7 million people live in this city. Now we need to redo the streets and grids. Nightmare. I mean, it's not going to be easy. But one of the things that I know, watching Indian culture, studying Indian culture, or the Indians are, you, my friend, are very resourceful, and you will fix this. I know you will. And it just blows my mind. This absolutely, truly blows my mind that India is a superpower, and she doesn't even have all of her weapons on the table yet. Can you imagine that day when the grids are done and all this stuff is done, and it's just going to be like, look out, man. Nobody's going to be able to stand in her way. She will just blow the competition away. So we'll come back later this week for part 2. Very interesting. Very, very interesting to see. I can't wait to see the actual interview. I'm looking forward to it. Do me a favor, will you please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace and much love.
I want to say, all the people, please subscribe Movie Community College. God bless you, brothers. Keep it up. You're making really, really great video. And please subscribe my CWV YouTube channel too. God bless you. Thanks for supporting me. I love you. Your name really, really very Inuit Professor.